Okay then, recording.
Okay. This Reece, Ryan, myself, Tom, and Alicia's Centroid project. Okay, environment.
Our environment, we had to go with a lab, that being our preset. We didn't want to go with a standard lab design. We wanted it to look more like it wasn't a place just to do research, experiments, things that the public wouldn't be told. So we've tried to make it look like a room design an operating theatre behind glass walls there, where different creatures and things may be experimented upon, or the room behind with a broken desk where people could watch and decide if the projects are continued. Although in this case, something they were working on didn't go as planned, it woke up and trashed the lab. And that's the design that we're going for the environment.
Can I just add that this part here is where the action is going to take place, so we've mapped, so we know where it's going to happen. That's this bit. It's this bit here. And that's to scale off the area, so we know that's where it's going to take place. Here is what we've got in 3D Max.
Quick render, not too much detail. The basic layout of the map, it still needs a lot of clearing up. But apart from that, the general idea is okay.
So the camera angles from like this corner looking this way. That's what you're seeing there.
Show me again.
So the camera's here.
Yep.
This corner looking in this way.
Okay.
So that's what you're seeing on the
Right.
render. This is some research stuff. We thought of, like, because it's a lab, we thought of doing like sort of an experiment that sort of went wrong. So that's why we thought of lizard over there, and then we thought of like combining animals together. So we looked at like chimeras and manticores and stuff. And you'll see why this is relevant in a sec with the character.
We went for a design similar to that of a baboon monkey that had been mixed with a scorpion. We wanted it to be humanoid. Mainly, we had many ideas, but we went with humanoid mainly because of the limitations of motion capture. If we'd had more freedom and access to more facilities, we would probably consider more of an animalistic-like creature. The design there was mainly thought up by Alicia. She helped greatly with the research for the villain or monster, as well as drawing its art design.
Okay. This is our storyboard. Brian, joy.
Our storyboard was basing on how our protagonist was going to come in to stop the villain because he was rampaging in the lab. The villain's the protagonist is trying to search the villain because the villain is hiding, and then he eventually pounces out from the hiding spot to try and surprise our protagonist. Then he eventually dodges out the way, web slings him in the face. The villain then eventually, blinded, rams himself into the wall, then tries to get rid of the web off his face, and then tries to get a second attack on our protagonist, of which our protagonist dodges, gets his tail stuck in the wall, which then eventually our protagonist will get a hold of him with his web and then throw him against the wall, leaving him unconscious.
This is just our schedule and our job roles. Tried to divide it up as evenly as possible, but it's not. It can be quite flexible. So if I'm not doing anything, for instance, I can always find something else to do. And the schedule, yeah, is pretty tight. But that's just college when we're in college. So there's obviously weekends, Mondays, Tuesdays as well, which we have time to do those tasks as well. Yeah, thanks for listening. Any questions?
Feel free to do it. Could you just flick it back to the storyboarding for me so I can just have another look at it?
Which?
From there, yeah, just leave it on that.
Okay.
Far away.
How are you going to do the web that goes on here?
We were thinking of using animating splines in 3D Max, or adding it in with Adobe After Effects or just other combination to the both.
Who's your motion capture character?
We decided we were going to go with a standard Spider-Man.
Well, this guy is going to be the motion capture.
Yeah, but for the protagonist will be filmed the standard Spider-Man.
How are you going to have to get the costume for that?
Yeah.
So you're going to buy it and bring it in and you're going to tell the actor.
Any other questions?
Could you go back to the 3D model and explain that a bit, of the actual place, because I was a bit confused.
Yeah,
well,
perspective and stuff. I
well,
saw what you said about the camera.
Above the camera to the right is just a decorative prop. Robotic arms that are going to have multiple implements on the ends. Here is a operating table. In terms of looking as close to a top secret lab as I thought as I could, I decided to put it on rails for mobility around the lab if they've got extra equipment in. Here is just is going to be shattered glass. It still needs a lot of clearing up. And then to the left will be a door, and behind here in the, which isn't visible very well, will be the viewing area that would have looked in on the operating area. They'll have chairs, desks, computers and other things.
And that's behind the smashed glass?
Yes, the whole area will be in the motion capture region.
Is the camera facing down on the scene then? Or?
Yes, it's in the one of the top corners within the operating part of the room.
So, where's the motion capture area?
The whole room is.
Well, I thought, isn't it? It's just the area. So go back to the other one.
As the
bit to the
there
right.
isn't to scale. The actual room itself that I've modelled is to scale with the measurements of the motion capture area, but this is just a rough idea of where things should be.
And what's that line going across?
The
middle?
line going across is where the smashed glass wall is
Okay. Oh,
going
and
to
that's
be.
the room behind it. All right.
Anything else?
I see it coming down, I can see the robotic arm, I can see the pane of glass that's crashed, and it goes to, where's the operating table?
There.
Okay. Okay, yeah, good. I like the idea. However, I think you've got to really work out a scaled diagram of your floor plan, where things are. I know that says this is where it's going to happen, but it isn't to scale, it's not the right proportion.
The actual 3D room is to scale though.
Yeah, but you need a diagrammatic that's going to show exactly where things are going to go, because what you will need to do is go into the room and you'll have to mark out where the props are going to be, where the benches are going to be, the operating table, all the area, so that the actors know exactly which area they are confined to do the action that you're requiring. So you need to work that one out to scale. So take that one, scale it properly, and then put the props in as well as you think they're going to be. Just run through the sequence of movement in the storyboard again for me a minute. Yep, okay, go from there to the next.
Next.
Just skip through the storyboarding. Okay. Have you scaled out or worked out physically how much space you need for the action to take place, as in where actor one is going to be working in relation to your CG model?
We have a rough idea, but not definite yet.
Okay. Because if you go back to your environment, the overhead shot, keep going, that one. What worries me is the narrowness of the catchment area. The amount of props you've got in there is going to be very, very cramped. You may want to consider, a bit like the first group did, where you've taken the catchment area is the action area, and then you put your props just on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this, as Jason said previously, You can make the environment as big as you like. The action just takes place in one area.
Okay.
So don't feel constricted or constrained by, the constraints by that. Yeah?
Our room's still early concept, so we can change quite a lot of things.
Okay. All right. Good.
Is it?
Any other comments?
Yeah. The 3D, I can kind of get this. Your 3D environment, I mean, I've seen it as a 3D model. Your render was almost impossible to understand because of the shadows all over the place. I could barely work out what I was looking at, and I knew what I was looking at. I would, hang on, I'm not, just give me a sec. If you're going to do anything like that, throw up an AO clay render. Don't light it, don't put shadows on, just do a straight render with ambient occlusion running just to show us, to get us an idea what it's going to look like. It's, like I said, I knew what I was looking at, and even I found it hard to work out. And if I find it hard, then everybody else is. But stuff like that, just do a straight clay render just to show it. Okay. I've put on here, it looks really cramped, so I'll kind of reiterate what Tim said. You need to really carefully plan this out. You've only got 20 foot to work in, so this is going to be tight. It's tempting to say, yes, we're at the concept stage, we still mess with it. Not according to your timetable. You need to nail this down probably tomorrow at the latest.
Okay. Yeah.
Alright, because time's marching on, we are tight for time on this. And it goes for kind of everybody as well. There's a lot of work and you need to stay on task, so you're going to have to, you can't procrastinate and wait another couple of go, oh, we're not decided yet, we're not decided. Because you need to nail the design down tomorrow, because before the end of the week, you're going to be ready for motion capture, so you can't wait about. You really have to really carefully plan the fight sequence out. You're really, really careful. Again, consider if you're going to composite, how are you going to composite it? Same comments that were before. If it's not against a screen or against a curtain, you're never going to get a good comp. And you do not have time to spend weeks doing hand-drawn roto. It'll kill you. It'll absolutely kill you. I think the character itself could do with a bit of bulking up. It's a little bit on the slim side.
Okay.
You want to kind of bulk it up a little bit. Apart from that, that's pretty much everything I've got so far. Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? No comments? No? All done? Right. Well done.